it's not gonna work. For example, I have clients, this is something that happens very often to me, who are obsessed with high resolution pictures and videos. And it's great, just that high resolution isn't something that you always need. For example, for Instagram, you don't need, because Instagram and Facebook anyway, they have some special algorithm to compress the images. So even if you upload the big image, it's gonna compress it. And that's why I provide for my clients high resolution and version for internet, so that those algorithms don't work because the images are already small, so that it doesn't change the colors. And the algorithms of Facebook and Instagram sometimes work weird. So I give you the pictures that you can upload directly, so that the algorithms don't change them. And I have clients who just don't accept this fact, who are just
so let me ask you about this. So are you saying that you're saying by you're changing the resolution of the picture, and so you
yeah.
have one high resolution and one regular resolution for social media.
Yeah, something that loads faster and doesn't change the color, something that is already formatted right for social media. And I have many clients who don't want to accept this fact, who like tell me, no, but where did you find this information? No, I see the difference if I upload high resolution or not high resolution. You don't see the difference, it's just what they tell themselves. But sometimes I just see that it's like they are not gonna listen, say, okay, upload high resolution, do what you want. I explained the problem, like, now upload whatever you want. So sometimes also to keep the clients, you just have to accept some of their prejudices, some of their opinions, and tell them what might be the problem, but don't insist on solving it if they don't want it to be solved.
So it's almost as it's a dance, it's a partnership with your client. And those who are hiring you for your skills, a lot of times, as a client, we have to be careful, right? Not to
Yeah.
overstep the expert that we're hiring to do the work for us. So it's interesting that, yeah, you still have to make that balance. You know exactly what it is that you want to do, but sometimes if they are insistent on, I want it this way, you almost have to find it to where you say, okay, let's do it your way first. Let's see how that works. And then most likely, a lot of times, they eventually do it the way you were suggesting, right? Anyway.
Yeah, or you have to, yes, find this way of making things as they want. And sometimes I have to also like warn them, like, I just want to be clear that this may not work. I will do it as you want, because as freelancers, as artists, later the client can come to us, you did something wrong. And it's I had a situation like this, that, for example, I had a client who didn't want to listen and wanted to hire a makeup artist that was very cheap. And I noticed directly from her portfolio that there may be some problems. And I just told the client, I see this thing. I recommend another makeup artist I work with that I know is very, very good. You can do whatever you want. I just want to make it clear that I will not do additional retouching, because later they tell me, you can fix it, for example, in Photoshop. I won't do additional retouching than of what I would normally do. So you take the makeup artist that you want, but if there are some heavy issues, like, I will not put additional time for work that I told you about. And so there were some issues. The client didn't notice them. I noticed them. Some I fixed anyway because they were just too heavy. Some I just left it go, because I said I warned the client and she did as she wanted, and she liked the result. Maybe she didn't have, she wasn't so trained, she didn't notice so much the makeup issues. I did. But so this is an example that you also have to be careful how the client perceives you, and so that you are in like a secure space, that you do what the client wants, but you also tell them, okay, I do as you want, but later don't put it on me. Like, I will do
Yes.
my best with the conditions you give me, and I agree to do whatever you want, but also consider that if this particular thing happens, it's not my fault.
And that is very important because that is the quality of your work. and you will be judged by others seeing the quality of your work. So it is true, what you mentioned. Of course, number one is placing boundaries around your schedule or your life, or regarding clients, and then being able to somewhat control the quality that is exposed in regards to your brand. So if you didn't mention that, and someone sees it, and you left something, let's say, that wasn't to your specification or to your level of quality, then it can be come across that you're not doing good work. So
Yes,
yes, it's
exactly.
very important to do that. So it's interesting that, and now, do you add like premium fees if you had to do any adjustments that were, once they find out later on, okay, I did want this to be changed? How do you handle that? How do you, handle the situation where a client may want a change in what it is that they want to do?
In general, I just keep my price and I say, okay, these are the limitations, because also I will not like remake models, the whole model's face just because there is a makeup issue. For example, yeah, I modeled the lips because there was some very weird thing happening with the lips of the makeup. But if there are some additional things that they want, some specific changes, I just say, okay, this is like additional retouching fee. But honestly, it happens very rarely. Usually, people don't see those issues. So maybe I see them as more professional, more because I
Mm-hmm,
work with
mm-hmm,
these things. Just I always talk about them because I want to make it clear. And also, even if the client doesn't notice, maybe later they show the pictures to somebody and goes, oh, but this is such a bad thing, they
mm-hmm.
didn't do it. So I just want to be sure that we have the situation clear, and if you want later we can work out a solution of how we can fix the problem, but it obviously also depends on the problem.
I love that. I really, really love that. So you're saying basically it's very important. It's very important to you what the quality of work that you put out there. So I love that. I really love that, because that means that you're taking care of your brand. And as an entrepreneur, we have to do that, don't we? We have to take care of our brand, because, we want to ensure that we're successful for the client. So let me ask you, what is success for you? Like, what does success mean to you as far as what it is that you do right now?
For me personally, success means to feel free, both financially and as the matter of time, and that I can work when I want and spend time with my family when I want. Financially, it doesn't have
Mm.
mean that I have to be a millionaire. It's just that I don't want to like feel
Mm-hmm.
stressed about money. And so this is um, most important things, to feel free and to have time whenever I need for my beloved ones. Because, for example, a year ago, I had this situation in my family that a member of my family got very ill, needed an urgent
Mm.
surgery, and had to spend like a month in hospital. And what I
Wow.
did was jump on the plane the next day and just stay in the hospital for a month. I
Mm.
just postponed some photo shoots, and the rest I was
Wow.
working from my laptop, and I didn't lose any money on this. And my what I
Wow.
was stressing all the time for this month, it was like, oh my God, and if I would have a 9 to 5 job and my boss wouldn't let me go, like, what would happen? Or they would let me go for 2 or 3 days,
Oh.
and later I would have to sit in the office or wherever and worrying. So for me, it was so strong that I didn't need pandemics really. I already had this thing last year that made me
Wow.
the like I realized how important it is to have this flexible business and to have it prepared for anything. So this thing of freedom also for the such unpredictable situations, for me it's like a key.
I love it, because so your why is connected to you're looking for that flexibility, that freedom to spend that time. And I truly believe, deep down in a lot of entrepreneurs, most entrepreneurs, that is what it is that we're seeking, is to be able to, have some kind of control over our time, being able to choose how we use our time, and in spending that some quality time with family or what matters to us. So that is fantastic that you're sharing exactly why a lot of people take the entrepreneur journey. And what does success mean is once you start acquiring that, which you were able to, spending a month in a hospital. Wow. I mean, there's not too many people that can do that. It's
Yes.
just it's almost impossible, especially if you're working 9 to 5. You will lose your job unless you have a comforting, nurturing, or understanding boss. And usually it's not even to their fault. It's because they can't afford to have someone not be there for a whole month. So setting up your systems and your processes so you're able to leave, uh, basically physically and move around, that is a great success to have, and be able to have an impact on someone else's life and support someone else while they're having situations that's happening in their lives. So that's fantastic. So let me ask you this: if you could, turn back time, seems that you're on the journey, you're making it happen, you're adjusting, I'm sure. If you could go back from the beginning, as before you started to be an entrepreneur, and even go further back, let's say a teenager, what would you tell Alexandra, the young Alexandra? What would you tell her?